Hey, welcome to The Explainer, the show where we break down huge ideas into simple, clear visuals. If you're new here and that sounds like your kind of thing, definitely hit that subscribe button. All right, today we're diving into a massive, hidden productivity killer, and we're going to show you how a simple $2,000 fund can buy back the one thing you can't make more of, your focus.
So let me ask you something right off the bat. Is worrying about money secretly sabotaging your performance? For so many of us, the answer is a big, fat yes. It's that constant, low-level hum of anxiety in the back of your mind, thinking about bills or debt or what happens if the car breaks down. But what if I told you it's way more than just about feeling?
That's right. The best way to think about it is as a cognitive tax. It's this invisible burden that's always running in the background, just draining your mental battery, your creativity, and your ability to concentrate. This tax hits you every time there's a financial surprise, and if you don't have a buffer, it can trap you in a really nasty cycle. And this is exactly what that cycle looks like. It all starts with one unexpected thing. The check engine light clicks on. A medical bill shows up out of nowhere. With no cash ready, you're forced to put it on a credit card. Well, suddenly, those high-interest payments are gobbling up your next paycheck, making it totally impossible to save anything. And that just leaves you wide open, waiting for the next hit. It's a loop of debt and stress that just feeds itself. So what is the actual cost of all this worry? This is where it gets really, really eye-opening. Some recent research from Vanguard actually put a number on this cognitive tax, and honestly, the results are pretty staggering. So get this. According to their study, if you don't have an emergency friend, you lose an average of 7.3 hours every single week just worrying about money and dealing with financial stuff. That's almost a full workday every week just gone, vanished into thin air because of financial stress. But look at what happens with even a small buffer. With just a $2,000 cash cushion, that time gets sliced by more than half. It drops all the way down to just 3.7 hours a week. That is an instant return of almost 4 hours of your life every week just by building a tiny financial shield. And here's where it hits your career directly. That same study found that without savings, people spend 6.1 hours at work distracted by money problems. But with that $2,000 buffer, it plummets to just 1.5 hours. You're not just buying peace of mind, you are literally buying back your professional focus. I mean, when you add it all up, we are talking about over 300 hours of lost productivity every single year. This is not a small leak in the boat. It's a massive hole sinking your potential. The good news, though? The fix is actually surprisingly simple. And that brings us to the solution. It is time to stop thinking about this as a defensive, boring emergency fund and start seeing it for what it is, a proactive focus fund. It's a tool that's specifically designed to reclaim your mental energy. The focus fund is your shield. It's that $2,000 buffer that stands between you and the next unexpected bill. It's what breaks that cycle of debt we just talked about, and it directly buys back your most precious resources, your time, your energy, and your ability to actually concentrate on what matters. And the payoff isn't something you have to wait for. It's immediate. The Vanguard research found that having at least $2,000 in savings is linked to a 21% higher level of financial well-being. That's a huge, instant upgrade to your quality of life. Okay, so the why is crystal clear, it's a no-brainer. But what about the how? Let's get into the practical, step-by-step playbook for building your focus fund so you can shift from being reactive and stressed to being intentional and in control. I love this quote from financial behavior coach Derek Hagan. It just hits the nail on the head. Building wealth and the focus that comes with it isn't really about luck. It's about making deliberate, intentional choices, instead of just getting pushed around by your impulses and whatever life throws at you. So why is this so darn hard for us? Well, behavioral science has a clear answer. It's a little thing called present bias. See, our brains are hardwired to care way more about right now than some abstract future. That good feeling from ordering takeout tonight, it feels a whole lot more real than the vague benefit of having money in the bank a year from now. So, how do we fight our own brains? Here's a simple 4-step playbook. Number 1, automate. Set up a recurring transfer into savings the day your paycheck hits. This totally bypasses your impulsive brain and makes saving the default choice. Number 2, cool off. Create a rule for yourself, a mandatory 24-hour waiting period on any non-essential purchase over, say, $50. This gives your logical brain a chance to chime in. Third, budget simply. You don't need a crazy spreadsheet. Just use something like the 50-30-20 rule.
50% for needs, 30% for wants, 20% for savings. It just gives you clarity. And finally, number 4, reframe the goal. Stop thinking of saving as sacrificing fun. Instead, think of it as actively avoiding the very real, very painful stress of a future crisis. Now that is a powerful motivator.
Look, building this first $2,000 fund is so much more than just hitting a number. It's what's known as a keystone habit. It's the training ground. It's where you build the discipline that unlocks real, long-term financial freedom. At the end of the day, this is the journey we're talking about, right? It's moving from being ruled by present bias, stuck in these cycles of impulse buys and debt, and moving toward future security, where you're making intentional choices and have the peace of mind that allows for actual long-term growth. And that long-term growth, it gets supercharged by one of the most powerful forces in finance, compound interest. The best way to think of it is as a reward for your discipline. It's the magic that happens when your money starts making its own money, creating this incredible snowball effect over time. So please, remember this, that small, totally achievable goal of building your $2,000 focus fund isn't the finish line, it's the key. By mastering this one simple habit of saving with intention, you are unlocking the door to the incredible, life-changing power of compounding for decades to come. So let's end with this. The data shows you can get back over 4.5 hours of focused, productive time every single week. That's more than 230 hours a year. So the real question isn't about what you have to sacrifice. It's about what you stand to gain. What could you build or create or achieve with all of that reclaimed focus? Thanks so much for diving into this one with us. If you want more breakdowns of big ideas that actually matter, make sure you're subscribed. We'll see you in the next one.